Hey guys, I'm Sdanwolf. Welcome back to the Take2Podcast. I'm here with my buddy Drew, and we are going to talk about some Prehistoric Kingdom. We're going to devote another podcast to this very, very interesting title. What say you, Drusif?
Well, this is a different one, right? All the podcasts before this talking about PK, Prehistoric Kingdom, where before the game had come out, before we had seen much. And yeah, since the last time we had a Prehistoric Kingdom Take-Two podcast, well, yeah, the game's come out and we know a whole bunch about it now. And it has been a whirlwind of excitement for this week revolving around this game, basically.
I know, man. This is one of those titles where it's hard for me to explain it to people, but it's almost like you got, like, remember that feeling when we first got Planet Coaster, like 5.5 years ago? When you went into it and you loaded it up, it just hit different. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, we hadn't seen something. We hadn't been given tools like that or freedom to build how we had wanted to at that capacity, that level.
I know, and a lot of people would probably argue with us, like, well, this is like a modified version of Planet Zoo. Why would you get so excited for this? And I'm just telling you, the excitement that I got from loading up into this the first time didn't catch me like that, like with Planet Zoo, like it did for this. I don't know if it's because I was so hardcore into Planet Coaster and I kind of knew what to expect, being the same, like, essentially the same universe. Don't get me wrong, I was awestruck by the weather and the lighting, that whole new package that ushered itself in with Planet Zoo. But it's just different. If you don't,
this feels like the next step.
Right.
Like Planet Zoo, like you just said, it had some nice additions. It looked better. It felt tighter as far as the builder goes, and everything felt more ironed out. But it didn't feel like it took that step, in forward that I think a lot of us maybe unjustly put onto the title, thinking of what it was going to be. Mm-hmm. But this PK is what we were kind of looking for as far as that next big step forward.
Right. And this, like, one thing, like, if I could sum it up in 2 words, Drew, Prehistoric Kingdom, I think next generation. I think this is next gen type simulation gaming, what they're on the cusp of. And, it even says, like, on the roadmap, the alpha, you are going to be experiencing a rudimentary version of the mechanics, the guests, the animals, everything is going to be very, very introductory, hence alpha, of course. But man, it doesn't feel like that necessarily. It feels like this is like getting ready to, it's like getting ready to leave beta. I don't know, maybe like a deep beta test. It's
for a lot of the tools, I definitely agree. There are, like, the builder needs some tweaking here and there. I mean, just to play devil's advocate, because that's what I do. But the terrain tool, I think, is the most complete. The terrain tool feels amazing, especially, like, it feels very. And this is going to be kind of a theme, I think, in today's podcast. We are going to compare the game to Planet Zoo. I know there's people who are out there saying that you shouldn't compare this game to Planet Zoo. Like, well, you can. They're very, they're similar.
It's what we have to go off of, post 2016. So,
right, we're not going to compare it to Zoo Tycoon 2 or Jurassic Park Operation Genesis a whole lot. So yeah, we're going to be comparing it to Planet Zoo a lot. So let's just get that out of the way, I guess. But so the terrain tool feels very, very similar to Planet Zoo, but just very more refined, and it kind of just responds a lot quicker to, like, what I want it to do.
I would say satisfying is a good word for the Prehistoric Kingdom terrain tool. Is so satisfying, right. And almost like I know we'll get into the pathing and stuff, but the whole suite that they've given us here, it's so, like, intuitive, it's almost creepy. It's like the path and the terrain tool and the water tool it knows what we want to do. It knows how we want stuff to look, almost. Do you agree with me in that sense? Like,
I've been saying all week in my my standalone videos that it doesn't restrict you. It's like, you want to do that? all right, I mean, that's cool. You do you, bro. Like, I'm not here to tell you what to do. You know, I mean, it's just, yeah, like you said, the pathing. That's a great example where it handles like Planet Zoo. It's kind of that node pathing kind of system, but it doesn't sit there and say, nope, you can't put a path there. No, you know, you don't get a bunch of errors that say you can't do a path there, or making a plaza, for example. You know, in Planet Zoo, you have to do a gridded plaza system. Just all that is just gone with this pathing system and a lot of other systems. It's just do it. Just essentially paint it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna tell. That's what I was gonna tell these guys. Even the path tool, it's almost just like a paintbrush. Like, you can fill in little gaps and stuff, like where you have, like, you know, a type of path design that you couldn't dream of closing together with Planet Zoo. It's just the mechanic just isn't there. And this, like, you could have a little slither of like grass that's sticking through. And I just did it the other night on stream. I was showing the people between where the original path was and the fencing, and I literally just like painted the little path piece in. Nice. And then you couldn't even tell, you know, it was like one big giant flowing plaza. So,
right. And again, that's just kind of the big overarching theme, is just like it's just ease of access. We were talking, Jonty, Geekism, he was streaming some Prehistoric Kingdom this morning, making a habitat, and people were looking at it going, wow, that's a really big habitat. It's going to take a long time to, you know, make that up. These are Planet Zoo players and Planet Zoo mindset. But then, you know, Jonty busted out the terrain tool, or the paintbrush tool. And he's like, this is why it takes a long time. And he made a great point, is that, you know, placing down the modular pieces of tree and foliage and all that kind of stuff, piece by piece by piece by piece, takes so long to cover up like a habitat or an area. But that brush tool, the path tool, just all the combinations of the tools, they just make everything don't feel like work. It feels just like it's fun. You know, it's just like, I have an idea, and now I'm able to put it down there, and it only took me an hour, rather than, oh, I just spent a day placing trees down, and then tomorrow I'm going to spend a day building a few viewing points, and then the next day, you know, it's like you almost have to plan like a week out to do like some exhibits in Planet Zoo, but in this game, it just go.
Yeah, with Planet Zoo, you almost have to plan out sessions. Like, okay, I have to get in here, and I have to focus on the foliage this like round of 2 or 3 hours.
Whereas this, get ready to do it.
Yeah, and you know, and you wouldn't believe, like, people that come to the stream, particularly like Cybris and Heather, you know, Planet Zoo regulars, they are just floored by how quickly I get work done in Prehistoric Kingdom. I mean, and they're saying it. They're like, dude, this would have taken you 2 hours in Planet Zoo, and you just did this in like 28 minutes.
Yeah, it's insane, right? Yeah, and you know, there's, like we're saying, there's that tool, the brush tool, and we haven't even talked about a few big ones. I feel like everything's a big one, but I think like the big one that really makes things easy to build is the scalability of damn well near everything in the game, right? I mean, it's just like it's so simple of simple, quote unquote. I understand behind the scenes it's a little bit more than simple, but you know, it's just the fact that if I build a building and I'm making it custom a little bit, and you know, let's say a wall piece just doesn't quite match up to another wall piece, well, hey, that's okay, partner. Let me just take you and drag it out a little bit.
Dude, I know. We were talking about you in stream the other night when we said that Drew was like, man, I wish this piece could be smaller. And then you're like, oh, wait, it can.
Right.
Like, that was your exact quote. We're like, wait a minute. And I've caught myself doing that, like, even just with like rock work and stuff. I'm like, man, I wish if I could make these little river rocks just a little smaller. And I'm like, wait, I can.
Hold on. You just have to like really reshift your build methods. You know, you have to rethink that you're not really in a box anymore. You know, it's kind of a funny thing where with Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, I give them full credit for you know, exposing us to a lot of these tools, and you know, like the gizmo and rotating, you know, really getting us started with that. And even further back with Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, Frontier did that, and they did a lot of you know, really neat things. But I really think Prehistoric Kingdom has really just grabbed the mantle from them, and it's just like, okay, no, you guys want to know what it's like to like have full form creativity? here you go. Like,
yeah,
here's what you need.
Yeah, it's like they designed this game like it was just a bunch of us sitting around. Like if we had the capability to design like a functional zoo game how we want it to function, it's like these guys are doing that. They're like, okay, we'll make it happen. We'll do it. They've got the Critivo backing. It's just a really interesting set of circumstances that have brought us to this point. Like I said, Drew, like, remember you were messaging me, you're like, dude, I stayed up until 1 a.m. last night messing around with this game. Like, you're like, it's been years since I've done that with a game.
Yeah, no, true story. I looked over at the clock and I was like, oh my God, it's seriously 1 o'clock in the morning and I've been sitting here I was just messing around with the tools. Like most of the stuff I did for that session, I don't even think I kept. It was just like, just having fun, just having full creativity. And again, like the thing that I want to mention is what we're talking about here with the alpha, for those of you that don't know, we're only talking about the builder right here. When we say like this is so amazing and it's moving the genre forward and stuff like that, we're only talking about the builder here. The alpha itself has like no management, no economy. Like the guest AI is as simple as I'm going from A to B. So we are strictly talking just the builder here, just in case people aren't aware. I hope the management is really good because I always look forward to good management type games. But yeah, just want to get that out of the way. But yeah, no, I've just been personally just having a ton of fun. I know a bunch of other people too. It's been so much fun to see like you and Leaf and Lion Rider and just whoever else has the alpha right now, just seeing everyone's like reactions to the different tools that we get to use. Like someone should put together like a compilation video of all these content creators like just freaking out over like scalability, what? And like, there's all this different stuff like that.
Yeah, and like saying in Simply Savannah when we were talking about the rock texture and just how much like grittier it looks, I'd say. That's a good word for like Prehistoric Kingdom's rock work. Really gritty and raw and just feels really mature, doesn't it? Like when you're...
Well, yeah, and I think it was Lion Rider or Leaf mentioned when I was talking to them that the rocks fit together really well. Even with the scalability, like in Planet Zoo, you can tell... I mean, if you do it well, you can't really, but you can kind of tell like, oh, that's that rock. I can see it in the rock formation, whatever. But when you're building a mountain in Prehistoric Kingdom, they all just morph together like so well.
I know, and you're like, yep, that's my mountain. But you can't, yeah, like you said, it's kind of, you almost can't do it. You can't point to a mountain and be like, okay, that is rock piece 7 right there on the end. It just, it doesn't work like that in this. It really just flows like one big mountain.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so I think they did. And again, that's, all chalked up to the scalability, right? I mean, it's the fact that we have scalability just takes customization and just infinitely puts it on its head, right? Because the same rock that Sdan might take to detail out a teeny tiny planter next to a bathroom, I can take that same rock, explode it up, and build a mountain out of it.
Yeah, or like what's my little tiny planter is your like cave roof. Yeah. I mean, it's just an incredible
and don't forget,
intuitive
that's for everything
tool
in the game too, because like I'm looking right now. I'm in Prehistoric Kingdom while we're doing this podcast, just in case we need to reference anything. And I'm looking at a wetlands habitat that I streamed a little bit ago, and I used instead of one of the bushes in game, I used the tippy top of one of the trees in the game. Whatever, it's one of the trees in there. So yeah, I resized it to be a bush, right? So that's just like, you just really got to think way different when you have those options available to you.
And moving on to, let me just ask you, Drew, like, because I'm kind of looking at some of these, kind of like on the release roadmap and the Tyrannosaur and all that. I have found myself, and I'm seeing if you agree with this, I am a lot more interested in these dinosaurs than regular animals.
It's funny. I am too, and I don't know what it is, but there's just something about them that just is they look so good.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I am not a dino nerd. Like, I am not a paleo nerd. I'm not steeped in research and, concept art and theories about them. But there's just something about this game, like the personality that the animals have in this. It's almost just like they pull you in, like you have to take a break. Like, that's what we do in stream. I take a break and I call them animal checks, and we just zoom around the zoo and we check in on the animals. And you just, even though I know they have a limited set of animations right now and they don't actually eat yet in alpha, which Nate said that they may bring that to alpha. They may actually bring feeding before alpha is over. But there's just something about them, like you want to stop and watch them. Now, in Planet Zoo, sometimes I stop and watch the elephants or maybe the giraffes, but really, Drew, it's like maybe a quick 2 seconds, and then I'm kind of gone. I'm back to building or back to focusing.
I know.
Like, dude, I'll fly around for 15 minutes just following these dinosaurs around and seeing what they're getting into or where they're walking or listening to them, and it's just...
I totally agree, because I was the same way in Planet Zoo where, some of the animals, sure, it's kind of fun to watch them for a little bit, but there's just something about, again, maybe it's the super duper realistic look of these, like there's nothing cartoony about them or whatever, and some of the Planet Zoo animals are a bit in that cartoony realm, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, I find myself coming in just like watching the T-Rex and just like, come on, do the roar, do the roar thing. And like, I get so excited when they do that and stuff. And like you said, I can't even imagine what this is going to be like when they're actually either hunting or eating or just like doing their there's a big focus on like their social calls.
And dude, when I'm streaming and I'm close enough and one of them roars, I stop talking. Like,
I do too.
You almost have to just like, you respect it for a second, don't you? You're like, that's awesome, and you all need to hear this.
Yes, I've done it in a few of my videos too, where I'll be recording and then a T-Rex will just get, you can see it too, because it goes like it really builds up to it, and you're like, get ready, here comes the roar, and
it's kind of like watching, like, everybody holding their breath, like if you've ever been to Universal Studios and you're in Diagon Alley and the dragon's about to blow fire. It's like you just stop for that quick second and listen to these guys. And remember, Drew, with update 0.2.1, they added in a couple more calls. Have you got in there and heard some of the little bit of kind of like murmuring that they...
No, I have not, and only because I got so busy with other, like Evil Genius 2 and the Planet Zoo DLC is really ramping up now, and just there's other few titles that I've been checking out, and I've had enough Prehistoric Kingdom content recorded in the first 2 days to last me about a week. So no, tonight is the first time I've been in game, and I have it muted right now so I can hear you. But yeah, I think they did it to the Edmontosaurus and the Styracosaurus.
Right, and too, it was funny. I think their audio guy, I think his name is Byron or Brian. Heather was talking in the stream a couple days ago, and we were saying how awesome the sound design was.
Oh, that's so
good. And we said something to the effect of, their sound department did awesome. And Mao, Mao come in and he's like, sound department is one guy. But man, that dude nailed that, didn't he? Like, it sounds awesome.
He scared my dog because the first day that PK was out, Michaela, my wife, got home, and I was like, babe, come here, check out this game real quick. And I turned the sounds up and everything, and the T-Rex let out a big roar, and my dog looked over and he looked at me, he's like, give me that. WTF was that? Kind of like, I was like, it's fine, buddy. But yeah, no, like, they all just have very just unique calls to them, right? They did a really good job for each one. Even the dinosaurs that are a little bit similar to each other, like the Edmontosaurus or the Styracosaurus, but they're kind of same family, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
They still have unique characteristics about them, and the sound is one of them.
Speaking of Mao and Byron and Nate and Cindy, all of those guys, Vic, let me talk to you about their community engagement and their communication. comparing it to studios that you've dealt with, and how do you gauge their community interaction?
So as far as like, I guess a little behind the scenes or whatever, dealing with other studios and and PK and stuff. Behind the scenes, it's never been an issue. Like that's the game devs have always been super duper awesome to us content creators, whether it's free keys or sometimes we'll get plushies or whatever. They're really cool to us and everything. On the other side of it, on the front side, I do think Prehistoric Kingdom is absolutely smashing it in the communications department, because like whether it's Twitter, whether it's Discord, whether it's Reddit, the transparency of
That's
them
the word
answering questions.
that's the word I was looking for. Transparent.
Okay, so perfect example. They're even in like, it's not small or anything, but they're even in the Zoo Sim modding community Discord, which is full of modding nerds and stuff like that, and people are just kind of watching what's going on with the modding. And like a lot of the devs are in there, and communication team, and some of us found the alpha trees that were in game that they just recently taken out. For those of you who don't know, there were some really old trees and foliage that were in game, and someone pointed it out in this Discord, and I think it was Vic or Mao said, yeah, those look like shit, we're gonna get rid of them and replace them with something good. And I was like, that's a developer right there basically saying that something they made in the game looks like shit and they're fully aware of it and they're gonna change it.
I know.
Just like, there's your transparency right there. Like,
dude. It's like you said, you could just be having a random stream and 2 or 3 developers are in the stream just hanging out.
They're always checking out. They're always as far as Twitter goes, they're on the ball with not even just content creators, just just random people there just have the alpha. They'll retweet them or like their stuff as well, and just they'll answer random questions. And no, they're on it. Like I just love the looseness. I think everyone is agreeing that it just feels like while they are a professional studio, it just feels like a very loose kind of buddy communication.
Yeah, and it's like you said, I just I love the transparency. There is no like weird secretive, we don't know what's going to happen next. It's just they're in the Discord, they're showing us, they're communicating.
They're involved in the community that they're building, and I think it's really important to be able, especially for like an indie studio like this. And Frontier, I think, did a really good job with this for Planet Coaster, where you can put a face to a developer really easily, and like feel like, I don't know, just that you have like they're accessible in a way. I don't know,
right?
Like, it's not a requirement, obviously, but it's just kind of nice to know that like, if you wanted to, you could ding Vic or you could ping Mao or someone and be like, I have a question. And, maybe they'll answer it, maybe they won't. But just the fact that the possibility is that they will is awesome.
Yeah, and just like when, like a couple of them, and I was telling Drew this, like they messaged me wanting my park file. Like that's just awesome. Like that is like the biggest, you just don't have that happen a lot. Like an actual developer of a game is like, hey man, is there any way you could send us that park file? We want to run some tests on it. We just really love to jump in and just like zoom around in it. It's awesome. And that was just like the biggest compliment out of left field. And I'm like, sure, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you right now. But that type of relationship, it's just, I don't know if it's just not the norm with game development companies, or if it's just not typically allowed, or if these gaming companies are so kind of like corporatized that something like that would never happen. Like they would never just reach out to you wanting your game file. And it's just, I think the whole experience with Prehistoric Kingdom is just so refreshing in a massive circle, roundabout way,
Right. And the funny thing is, and a lot of people maybe can't believe this, is we're only in alpha too, right? Like this is just all happening with like very limited marketing, except for like a lot of word of mouth and stuff. There's very base game, like right now I'm looking at the guests and they're just very basic, and same with a lot of the animals and stuff. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we're at the base here, and this is how excited we are, and this is like, again, yeah, basically this is how excited we are for the future of it and stuff. And I can't wait to see what the heck they keep doing here.
If you had to guess, how long do you think we stay in alpha? When do you think? Are you thinking 3-4 months? Longer than that? Not that long?
Honestly, I don't even want to speculate, just because that's kind of the attitude that I got from the devs during their live stream, which also, if you have not watched that, it's just over an hour long. That PK live stream the day before the alpha went live. I recommend a lot of people watch that, because there was some amazing information given out, especially like with that question, like, when does beta come out? When do we think early access comes out? And they just kind of kept saying that they don't know. Like they just want to make sure that it's all polished. It's all, the community kind of agrees that everything is, good moving forward. They want to get ideas out there and make sure that, again, that they're not like, half polished or anything like that. So whenever they want to move forward with it, I think that's the best time.
That was, they gave a really good answer too when somebody said, "Do you have plans for DLC?" And they're like, "We are absolutely not thinking about DLC right now." They're like, "That's not even." It's like not even really been discussed. Like they're like, "We are focusing on getting the core elements ready to go." We're like, they're like, that is so far in the back of our minds, we're not even going to discuss it.
Like, they even said, like, if there's a want for it, like if the community wants us to do some more after we've got, like you just said, gotten the base game like out there, then sure, we'll definitely like provide it for you all. But like they even said with that, they're like, we want to make sure it's something that the community wants. It's a direction that we can like all basically agree that the game should go, kind of thing. So yeah, and I just love that. I love that they're really, a lot of people or a lot of companies say, "Oh yeah, we listen to the community," and all that kind of fun stuff. But this one, like, it just really feels like yes, they are the community, so they're listening to the community.
Yeah.
They basically just sound like a bunch of nerds like us who happen to take the extra effort and actually learn how to, code and make a game and
model and texture and animate.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're just doing, like, I think they even said that. They're like, we were just a bunch of, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis and Planet Zoo nerds, or Zoo Tycoon or whatever, just all these, they like the same kind of games we all like, and they saw an area in the market where they were just like, you know what, we can make a pretty badass game ourselves, and let's do it. Let's do it. And I applaud them. It's been a long journey for this title overall, and to see it kind of come to fruition like this, and just how great it is in an alpha state, it's awesome. That's
right. Jonty said, like he was saying, we wouldn't even recognize this game 2 years ago, a year ago.
Yeah,
he said you. Look at that. Yeah. But that is just really, really interesting. The feedback that we got from that live stream, as far like they're not ready to move on until the community is like ready to go. Like, yep, you've got it. We're good. Let's see what else you can come up with. That was just, isn't that an interesting, refreshing take from a game studio?
It doesn't feel like we're just quality of life. I don't know how to explain it, but like, how sometimes they'll release a beta and like, okay, releasing beta for 2 weeks, and then or alpha for 2 weeks, and then beta for a week, and then early access, and then the game's out. It's like, oh, okay. Do we have any time to give input on this, or are we just stress testing like servers and stuff like that? But this doesn't feel like that. Obviously we're stress testing the game out overall, but we've already had one update come in, and they already added in a chain link piece. They added in some little fixes here and there, and
so how many days? So we've had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days.
A week. Yep.
And we already have an update out that's addressing some pretty substantial issues. Well, let me ask you this, Drew, to kind of switch gears a little bit, because they know that you and I are kind of, fanboying over this. But how do you feel now that the alpha's been released? Like, how do you feel when there was a lot of like like anti-hypers, negators out there that were really, really not wanting me and you particularly, and to be so excited about this.
Yeah, I did. I saw a little bit on Twitter. I don't know if they were like trying to fully try and bring down our hype, but yeah, there were people that were just trying to be like, yeah, don't be excited about the thing that you've seen. And it's like, I'm a big boy though. I maybe they just didn't think we knew what we knew, because I mean, me and you did a lot of research for this game, right? Like we did probably a little bit more research than other people, like watching live streams and people's videos. So like we knew a lot about like the scaling. Like I had people confront me on that, like, no, not everything in the game can be scaled. Only certain things, or I think there was one that was like only things that are within the habitat can be scaled. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure no, because I've seen it with my. And so yeah, I think it was just a lot of being told to not be excited about things that we literally like saw and were excited about.
Yeah,
I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, we're like, no, guys, this is going to be well, and that's what we even told the developers. We're like, remember, Drew? We're like, what in the world were you guys so scared about? And we knew they didn't want like a miniature cyberpunk on their hands, but at the same time, we're like, you guys had nothing to worry about.
No, pump it up, man.
Yeah,
expose this thing to more people. I mean, I know why they don't want to. It's an alpha stress test and all that, but I mean, yeah, I mean, during their stream, they were even like really timid about it, and just and
right.
Again, I totally understand. I totally get it. You don't want to be the simulation world's cyberpunk basically.
And dude,
right?
if that alpha would have stayed open like until Saturday.
Oh,
like let's just do let's see 85. Let's just do $85 times 5,000 people. $425,000 if they would have just gotten 5,000 people to get on the alpha on Saturday. Almost $500,000.
During my streams and videos and all that, I had so many people.
I still have unread Instagram messages and stuff of people saying, "How do I play this? Take my money."
Right.
And I'm like,
exactly.
Dude,
the FOMO was real, and
yeah, if they would have just
be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy. We told you so.
I'm like, probably my one of my buddies, Bold. She's like, every day after that, she was like, she messaged me. She's like, I could absolutely kick myself in the teeth for not just buying this. And she was asking me, she's like, is there any way I can still get my hands on this? And I'm like, Bold, I think they still have it locked down. They're not, you can't get on this again. I don't even think you can get on this again until, did you read up on that, Drew? Like, isn't it early access? Like, yeah, the beta, you're not going to be able to. It's early access. You can pre-order it for the $45, and that is the next time you can get your hands on it. Unless they come up with some kind of open beta weekend or something, but I don't think so. I think it's early access.
I did want to address that too, because you're right. The next one, as of right now, recording this on the 26th of March. It's only gonna be early access. But I did want to address. I saw a lot of people. Maybe you're newer to alpha accesses or access and stuff like that, but addressing the $85 to get into access, and you're saying, "Oh, that's ridiculous. Why would they ever think that the game is?" They did that on purpose so that only people who were going to come into the game that knew what they were getting into, essentially. They didn't want the mass public to come in and be like, "Hey, your game is wonky and this is broken stuff and the dinosaurs kind of..."
Yeah, and oh my God, they only have 7 animals and this. Right. I want my money back.
No, they wanted people to come in who were like, kind of like Sdan and I. Like, we were fortunate enough to be on the content creator list, and very thankful for that. But I think if we weren't, we probably would have both forked over the money, because we believe in this project so much. We think that what they're doing is a great direction. And that's what, like, because I don't know if people for Planet Zoo know this, but Planet Coaster did something almost identical. Planet Coaster had a coaster, or was it called Coaster Club, right? Coaster Club.
Yeah, Coaster Club. Coaster Head Club.
Yeah, Coaster Head Club, where it was like $75 or $80 to join that, and you got early access to like the alpha and some other like things like that. So yeah, I just saw a lot of people who like seemed like taken aback and like, oh, I would never pay this, and I've never seen this before. Like I saw people say, like, I've never seen this before. No, games do this all the time. It's just for alpha especially, they'll have it be a little bit more expensive to only attract people who are very, very interested in the game. So just wanted to kind of address that real quick.
Yep, and you know, full disclosure on our end, yes, the devs gave us a free key, but that's the extent of it. We're not being paid to push the game or anything like that. We just they gave us a free key back last Friday, and that was really cool too. We didn't even ask for that. We joined the Discord, remember, Drew?
That's right.
And they put like their Discord, if you go to it, they have like a cool people's content creator section, and all of a sudden mine and Drew's names were read, and we're like, what? And they're like, yeah, so they put us on the YouTube content creator list, and then we get an email from Critivo, you know, like at the couple weeks ago, and it's the Karen lady, and she's like, you guys, we're really wanting you to get you in on this early access alpha, and just let us know if you want to be a part of this. We have an NDA for you to sign, and like we were off to the races from there. But then, you know, I was like, message Drew, I'm like, Drew, they're gonna give us this. They're gonna give us a $90 alpha.
I know. I'm like, okay.
So I'm like, hell yeah, we'll try it out. But
absolutely.
But man, have you noticed too, Drew? Since we started covering Prehistoric Kingdom, our inboxes are full of game keys and promotions that people want us to do.
Yeah, I have at least 6 or 7 games now.
Me too.
I have lined up for the next like 2 weeks.
Like I've got like Airport CEO. I've got like a bunch of little like medieval village builder games. Like all of these little gaming companies. It's like, man, maybe all it took was us to show them that we don't only play 2 games. We will branch out a little bit, and you know, you can trust us with your game.
That's my 2021 goal for the channel. There is, and I've already started to do it. Is I am not a Planet Zoo only channel, right? It might be a game that I played a lot, and I'll always love it and stuff like that. But that is not all I like to play. So may as well start putting up similar games that I enjoy playing, and hopefully other people will as well. And I know you're kind of going down the same route too.
Yep, streaming helped me with that. Streaming really, really helped me kind of break away from the exclusive Planet Zoo, because I kind of just felt like I had hit a ceiling with Planet Zoo. Like I got the audience that that's all that I was going to get. I had my ride or die 100 or 200 people, you know, that are there, no matter what. But that was it. The growth had stagnated. There was no more for me. And when games like this come along, it's just, I know that sounds kind of selfish, but unless you do YouTube, you don't know the mental side that this hobby can take on you.
John T says it perfectly. He's like, he said it this morning too. He says when a normal, like someone who's not a content creator on YouTube, when they're done playing a game, they just stop, right? They're just, whether consciously or subconsciously, you just stop playing a game. Like some people that watch us for Planet Zoo, they probably even picked up Planet Zoo in like 6 months or something like that, but they still watch us for it. But when we stop playing a game like Planet Zoo, that's like our main game, some people who are still playing the game or expect us to make that content, it's like we owe them an explanation as to why we're not going to play it anymore. When in reality, it's like, I just don't want to anymore. I put 3,000 hours into it or whatever. I'm just done.
It's like we're moving on, guys. Come with us or stay here. You're welcome. You're more than welcome to come and go. We just like having you guys here. We just like you interacting with us. Hopefully you enjoy the new stuff we're playing. But if you don't, that's cool too. We're just saying it's, we have to evolve. We have to keep pushing forward. And the title, like Prehistoric Kingdom, if you wonder why Drew and I jump on that so hard, or have jumped on it so hard. It's just like it's another ticket to a different train station. It gets us out of this city and on to the next city.
Well, it just has again, just it's similar enough where we can kind of jump into it, but it just has really added a lot of what we've been kind of missing. It takes away a lot of the restrictions, and I think you mentioned it before, and I'm in the same vein where we're not exactly animal nerds altogether like dinosaur or today living animal nerds. We're more of a themed entertainment builders kind of thing. That's kind of like we're good at again, just like theme parks and themed up zoos and themed up dinosaur parks and stuff like that. Like that's kind of our overarching thing is themed entertainment construction.
Right. We are themed entertainment nerds. That is our thing. And I think sometimes people like they want to dictate like how we are. Like they want us to put more interest and emphasis on the animals and stuff, and we're just like, guys, we don't really care about that stuff. We want to make a cool looking enclosure. We want to make it seem like you're in the middle of Southeast Asia. The animal side of it is cool, but that's not what we're put here for. That's not our thing.
I need to know the basic information of like its climate, where it's from, what kind of foliage it likes, and then I can base a habitat off that kind of thing, right? So, but so.
But yeah, I think we've got it about whipped here. We just kind of wanted to jump in and give you all our thoughts on Prehistoric Kingdom now that we've had the game for a week. To sum it up, guys, I think I can speak for Drew. We are freaking pumped. If this is the direction that not only this game is going, but with simulation games in general that maybe utilize the Unity engine, the Unreal engine. If this is the way, if Prehistoric Kingdom can show us the way, I am very, very excited for our simulation future. You know it, Drew?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I think you said it earlier where this is like that next step or that next generation, whatever. And yeah, I mean, it's a great first step into really just giving players ultimate control into building worlds that you have imagined in your head and everything.
Right. That's what the players want. They don't want any restriction. If any devs are out there, ever listen to this, we just don't want our creative freedoms restricted as much as humanly possible. If you can give us that freedom, we will play your game for thousands of hours. It's just a given.
Also, like having the gameplay, like if someone can figure out how to have like the construction side and like the simulation side feed into each other like super well to where it's like where I build something and then afterwards I engage with it a whole bunch and like have fun, like more than just like taking a snapshot of it or like showing it off for a video and then I'm done with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's always my thing in like Planet Zoo and other games. Like it's like I build the habitat and then what, and it's like, okay, now I'm done. Like it'd just be cool if like, and I don't know what the answer is, but it'd just be cool if you could have a nice cool medium, because I like the tycoon and management and simulation side of these games as well as the construction side. So it'd just be cool if there was the two systems kind of interacting and flowing with each other. And yes, when you built something, it just felt like you could do something else with it afterwards, not just move on to the next thing like over and over again. So but yeah, no, really exciting times overall. Really, really exciting.
Yeah, and if you guys want to see us do another one of these, or if you want us to have a guest on, we could have Savannah on, we could have Jonty again, we could have Lion Rider. Leaf and Lion Rider could join us one of these evenings. Let us know.
They stink.
Yeah, that is true. Why did I say those two?
Yeah, they literally, they smell. You can smell them. So.
But yeah, if your guys' engagement on these videos lets us know if you want to see them more. If this video craps its pants, it'll probably be a while before we do one again. So your engagement dictates how often we do these. So anyways, guys, yeah, I will go ahead and jump on out of here. And Drew, you got any parting thoughts for us?
Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island. Discuss.
Very, very good. And I have a raccoon in my living room. I've got to go ahead and let you guys go. Matter of fact, there's 3 of them now.
I actually believe you from where you're from. So,
So we're going to go ahead and get the hell out of here. And we will catch you guys in the next one.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Control, we're at the fence. Almost ready to re-engage power.